What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nick. Just wanted to hit y'all with another little topic right quick, something I think we really need to discuss. But before that, I just want to tell y'all how much I appreciate all the love and support that everybody's showing just by liking, sharing, and commenting on the video. You know, participation is something that we really need to have, and it's going to take us delivering the work in order for us to get this truth out there. But with that being said, man, I want to talk a little bit today about our culture. You know, because it seems like a lot of people, once they find out that they are Indian, they feel the right or feel the need to go out there and change what they're doing. You know, most people don't really understand what indigenous culture is. And the thing that I'm starting to see is that we're giving up our real culture for something that we have never known. Now, most of our ancestors was Indians, and they continued to live the way that they did. Now, we got people out here today that's pushing this narrative of Native American culture as being indigenous when it's not the same thing. It's completely opposite. You know, people got to understand that Native Americans were put here in order to mimic our people. They weren't put here and started being our people. They was put here in order to act as if they were us. So what they started doing was going around creating a whole little society for themselves that was based off of us, you know. I see a lot of people nowadays going out here trying to start learning new languages and stuff like that. Well, one thing that y'all really got to understand is that the real indigenous people of America, our language and culture has never really been decoded. It's starting to be broken down now. The language is pretty much lost. They never was able to decode it. And if you do any type of research, they would tell you that. They would tell you that they never actually did. Most of these languages that these Native Americans are speaking are a mixture of some foreign language and the indigenous language. Now, they started to try to break it down, but they really couldn't get all the way to it because our people just would not give them access. We stayed separated away from them all the way up until we started changing and started learning their language. So basically, we learned theirs and they never learned ours. And I see a lot of people today just going out here doing a lot of things that's almost disrespectful and just basically going backwards. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do because you got the right to be whoever you want to be. I'm just trying to tell you to be yourself. Don't try to go out here and be something that you're not. You know, real indigenous culture is the culture that most people are starting to abandon nowadays. The culture that's really being hijacked, and that's black culture. That's another reason why I got a problem with people getting rid of that word black, is because of the fact that whenever you go around and you tell somebody, hey man, black culture is Indian culture, they know exactly what you mean. But if you go to somebody and say, hey man, Indian culture is copper colored culture, they're going to be like, what does that mean? And they're going to feel like they need to try to go out there and learn something new, which is the trick of the government in order to get you to erase yourself. And then if you tell somebody, hey, you need to learn brown culture or any other thing other than black culture, they're going to go out here and start looking for new different things, you know. So when I say black culture is Indian culture, that's exactly what I mean. You know, what was observed by these colonizers was us getting together, doing powwows, what they call powwows. That's basically just family gatherings. We did that once a week, pretty much. We used to do it like that all the time, but nowadays our people can't even go once a year without seeing each other. You know, we just straight up abandon each other and pick up this European culture, and you know, and it's killing our people. And most of the time that we do get together, it's on a set day that these Europeans tell us to go out there and celebrate. It's on their holidays, which are holy days for them. And most of the time, it's victories that they have achieved over our people. So it's almost like a disgrace for us to go out there and even celebrate on them days. But most people that understand this, they just want to see their family, so they'll go out there and participate. So I don't knock nobody for going out there and doing that stuff. But what I do knock is us not getting together on our own accord. And what I'm trying to get us to see is that we got the right to be our own selves. And we need to start fighting to protect some of that stuff instead of just letting it go. You got a lot of black people nowadays that have basically just transitioned into a full European. You know, I see some of these people out here that's just so corny, man, it don't make no sense. A lot of people, you know, in the media and stuff like that, they want to use this European dialect. They got our people walking around with sticks up their butt looking like some Uncle Tom. Well, you know, some of y'all super woke people will be like, Uncle Tom was actually the person. But listen, man, you know, I'm talking to the people that are uninformed. You know what I mean? So basically, you know what I mean and what I intend on saying when I say that. So the thing about it is, man, is we got all of our people going out here acting like them. And then on the retrospect, they looking at us and they acting like us. You see these people on some of their TV shows, they trying to act swagged out, but really they just picking at our people. They want to be us so bad, but they can't be us. So they go out here and they try to just make fun of us. And then not only do they do that, they make us make fun of ourselves. Instead of us just being natural and who we are, we always trying to imitate somebody else. And I just got a big problem with our people nowadays going out here doing this Indian culture stuff. Like, it's the first thing that you want to do. Once you learn that you're an Indian, you want to go out here and learn from the colonizers what they told you an Indian was. Now, back in the day, those people did mimic our people, but what we was doing for function. We weren't just doing it for no fans and stuff like that. We weren't doing that stuff just because we felt like it looked good or felt good. Most of our people wore those types of clothing that they wore, and it was for function. You know, like if you had on a headdress, like most of the time, the real truth is, the men used to have very long hair. Most men used to have dreads, and then in the process of them dreads, they would put feathers inside of their hair in order to make them look more bigger than what they are. So then whenever they out here in the wild hunting and some type of animal might run up on them, they would be threatened by them because of the size of our people. You know, and basically when you got big bushy hair with a whole bunch of feathers out of it, these people would get terrified, the animals would get terrified of them. It's just like the same thing about a bear. People tell you, if you see a bear, open your arms out and the bear will think you much bigger than what you are, and it might get terrified. That was the same approach that our people took to doing what we did. So when we did that stuff, we did it for reasons. Like, and the same thing, like when we wore bear heads and stuff like that on top of our people, we did that for honor, because of the fact that our people was very prideful. We didn't just run around doing stuff that felt good and looked good. We did stuff for a reason. Everything that we did had good, valid reason. And those people couldn't really understand the reasons behind our stuff, so they just started trying to make fun of it and try to make it seem like it was useless. Now, we got a lot of people out here today that's basically robbing our people, and basically just trying to get influence off of our people and trying to get following off of our people by taking Native American culture and pushing it on to our people as if that's something that we need to be doing. Now, you can be walking around with a suit and tie on and be just as much of an Indian as you are somebody who out here that's got on a headdress, walking around with neckties and stuff like that, man, because all of that stuff that they doing nowadays is more or less of a costume. And people don't have no honor. Now, the people in Mardi Gras that do it and do stuff like that, man, those people do it as a ritual type thing. You know, they do it in honor of our ancestors. They not just running around here saying, I got to put this on because it looked good, because I'm getting back to my roots. They were celebrating their roots and letting them people know that we knew who we were, and they was not going to let it go. And so I take a lot of admiration towards those people for doing what they doing. But whenever I see some of our younger generation nowadays just picking up feathers and running around and stuff like that, it's almost like a spit to my ancestors' face to me, you know. But I'm not trying to judge nobody or nothing like that, man. These are my opinions, and I'm just trying to let y'all know where I stand on that, and basically where a lot of other people probably see it. You know, we got to start fighting to protect ourselves, man. Like, people are born Indian. Indian was a descriptive word. People got to understand that you don't just choose to be an Indian because you want to be. That's not how it works. Now, these people started doing that in their process with the Native Americans. They chose who was a Native American, who wasn't. Native only means to be born in America. So anybody who can think logically will understand that anybody born in America is native to America, because that's the book definition, and that's the geographical or that's the definition that these folks have created, and that's exactly what it means. So the thing about it is that we got to start doing is getting back to our roots. We got to start connecting with our family, and all that tribal stuff, you know, that's a tactic of division. Most of these people want to keep you divided. That's why they got the saying, united we stand, divided we fall. But think about it. United they stand, divided they fall. That's the same thing. It works both ways. So whenever you actually think about it, these people knew that if they divided us up, they could make us fall. It's a whole lot easier to conquer 10 people than it is to conquer 1,000. So what they did was start going around and start making us feel like we had to be separated by each other in order for us to be advanced. And now we got people doing just that thing. People out here saying, hey, man, this is my tribe. My tribal affiliation goes this way. But a lot of times they run it up under the Native American to get that tribal affiliation. Those terms and stuff like that was applied to those people. Those are government entities. If you was to look at what it really is, they are multi-ethnic entities that were set up by the government. So a lot of our people going around chasing that stuff, you really just chasing control, because the government is here to control you, and that's exactly what they want to do. So if we go out here and we start saying, hey, man, I got to learn this language from those people and this language from those people, then we are basically getting rid of what we already had. Now, our people have transitioned, and some of it was for the good and some of it was for the bad, and it was forced on to us. But you got to understand where you at and why you are there. Instead of you going back and trying to say, well, I'm going to get back to this history that my family has never known, you need to start looking at your family and say, what is the history that you have known? Like, people always got a problem with church. Now, I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe in the Most High God. And nobody, not no man or woman on this earth can stop me from doing that. The thing about it is that our ancestors also did. We had different people that, we had a whole group of people that were spiritually inclined. And most of our people worship the Great Spirit. Whenever these people talk about Native American stuff like that, the Native Americans tell you about the Great Spirit, but then they try to dumb it down by saying we worship animals. No, we praise God for giving us those animals. Everything that we did, we gave homage to God for doing so. So our people were very spiritual, and they hated that about us because they was not as connected as we was. We was connected. When people say we was connected to the land, we was connected to the whole environment, the whole terrarium that's set up. Now, people don't understand exactly what our ancestors did, but we was very scientifically inclined. We studied astrology. We studied all of the things of the earth. We are the ones who told them in the first place that the earth was flat. Now, a lot of y'all don't understand how important that is, but that's very important because it's your ancestors who was the ones who initially made those claims. And these people went up behind them, and guess what? They found out that they was not lying. We didn't have all this technology to figure all that stuff out. Our ancestors did it through spiritual guidance and connection with each other to be able to know exactly what the Most High had set up for us. So things like that is things that we need to be fighting to protect. Church was just our meeting place. Now a lot of y'all people get on Facebook and y'all basically having church because you get into a congregation and that's what you do. You sit back and you politic with each other on what's going on in the world. That's what church used to be for. We used to get together, we used to praise the Most High, and then after that we would get together and talk about what's going on throughout the community. Now most of y'all people that's still in church, you know that still happens today. Only thing difference is you being taught a doctrine that your people had never known. You chasing a strange God that your ancestors never had known. You are taught to believe in Jesus before you can even praise God. And God tells you in the Old Testament, hey, don't put no God before the Most High Creator, the one who created it all. But what do? First thing we do, oh no, you gotta believe in Jesus. Belief is the lack of knowledge. That's something that a lot of our people do not understand. But our ancestors was full of wisdom. Wisdom is the understanding of knowledge. Like I tell people all the time, don't go out here and preach and say something that you don't completely understand. You got people out here that's constantly trying to trick you and confuse you and get you off of your dime. They want you to be just as confused as they are because they know that they do not respect you for who you are and what you have been. So they had to go out here and try to recreate you into somebody that you are not. And nowadays, I just see a lot of our people going out here picking up stuff that we ain't never known. A lot of these people want to say, oh, I speak this language. They got this whole dialect going on. And it's like, you know, the people that don't speak that language, you basically outcasting them so they don't feel a part of it. So the first thing they want to do is run up and try to start learning some of that stuff that they don't know nothing about. But you're really not checking the facts of who you learning from. These people will tell you all of those languages are basically a mixture of two different languages. It's either like the Creole language, it's a mixture of French and some of our indigenous language. They weren't able to decode all of it. They was able to get bits and pieces of it. So they started just mixing French in to be able to fill in the blanks of what else they didn't know. So our people, we need to start being analytical and understand who exactly we are. We are the people that everybody seems to hate because they do not understand how we was able to get all this information. But you know, a lot of our people were so spiritually connected that we was able to just get answers without even having to go out there and look for them. Sometimes you can be out there and you can just be walking along and you'll have a revelation. You know, nowadays our people don't believe in that type of stuff because they don't have no knowledge of why you get those revelations. So I always just try to tell folks, man, you got to fight to protect yourself. Get back to your family. Get back to the people that you really know. Stop trying to be a part of a culture that don't want you to be a part of it. They take every single thing from you and then use it for their benefit and get rid of the rest. And then at the same time, they make you get rid of it and try to mock it and imitate it and make it look like it's stupid. But then you see them going around practicing the same thing. They just hate it because they cannot do it. We got people out here nowadays that used to be able to rap, used to be able to sing. Now you look at our people, you don't see nobody out here rapping and singing no more. You got people out here looking like fools. Instead of our people going out here saying, hey, man, you know, we got a lot of young sisters, got a lot of young brothers that's out here that can sing. Instead of us going out there spiritually connecting like we used to and doing all that stuff, we allow these people to tell us what sounds good. Well, these people don't really understand that, but when you really look at they songs and stuff, they used to sing country, rock and roll. They had no soul. They had no rhythm. Nowadays, you look at these people, they all sing R&B, which they done turned into pop music. And they always trying to do it up under our guidance. They have our people sitting there trying to teach them how to do it in the background so they can put their people out there in the forefront and make them look better than us. We used to have young boys that go out, run up and down the street all day long, playing with each other, playing tag and stuff like that. Those are the types of things when we had big groups of people, that stuff was fun. But what it did was it gave you great agility. It gave you a lot of different ways to be able to be physically fit. Nowadays, our people are set in front of a TV, and most of these video games are targeted at young black people, you know, and most of them got white people that you got to play. So you start looking at them as being the people that is on top. So our people out here that spending all their time in the house looking at all this media that's coming through their tablets and their cell phones and stuff like that is only to brainwash you into believing that society is much more important than what you should be doing out here in nature. Most of our kids and stuff like that, they don't want to be outside for more than 10 minutes until they get tired and be like, oh man, I don't want to do this no more, and go right back in the house. But now if you go out here in the country, you go see some of these white people, man, they got whole groups of people that's doing exactly what we used to do. They paying for themselves to be isolated away from you while they can sit back and do the same things that they told y'all was stupid. So we got to start really looking at ourselves and understanding, man, what is it that we really fighting for? We got to fight to protect a lot of these things, man. And I just see a sense of urgency with our people to get us back connected to what we know and what we have already done. Your people and your ancestors' labels and titles have changed, but what we have done has not really changed. It has been influenced a lot, but we still got connection to it. You know, you look at these commercials and stuff like that, man. Like I always watch that CC's Pizza commercial, and they got this fast rapping Mike or whatever the dude name is. You look at him when he come up, he rapping fast, and I mean it sounds pretty straight for what he doing. But then look at who he really imitating. These people never have done that. They always used to be in the past looking at rap like it was the dumbest thing in the world. Now this man out there he got his hat back. He looking like a thug. He looking like a little gangster or whatnot, you know what I mean? And then at the same time, they put your people up there in blouses and skirts and stuff like that. Young thug walking around with a pocketbook. You know what I mean? People running around here mumbling every word that they saying. You can't hardly understand them. They talking about stupid shit. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense as to what they talking about. They don't have no structure. They knew that music was a way that we used to be able to communicate. That's a way that we used to be connected. Our people would go from city to city to find that best new sound because of the fact that you had whole groups of people that was sitting there in their basement. You still got young niggas that's out here that's doing that stuff, but see, nowadays they trying to copy the imitation that's being put out there, which is nothing but a whole bunch of humiliation. So these young niggas out here wasting a lot of their time. Instead of them becoming spiritually connected, they just basically talking about money. The money that's set up from your oppressor that has robbed your ancestors of everything that you got. We are less than 2 generations removed from where our people was at a strong point. 1923, Black Wall Street, man, that type of stuff, it was 1,500 cities that got destroyed. They only tell you about the one because they never want you to know that how connected y'all people was all throughout this history. And the thing is, man, is that we need to start getting back connected. The only way that we're going to ever be able to get up out of this is unifying. Now, I speak a lot of stuff on Facebook, man, and I always try to tell folks that it's all about misdirection. You got to understand, these people out here paid millions of dollars to keep you confused. The whole CIA and FBI was set up in order to monitor you and figure out ways in order to infiltrate you and disperse you. That's what they have done. Nowadays, you got people getting together at family gatherings. They ain't talking about nothing but how European they have become. They're not talking about anything about why they connected to each other or how they connected to each other. We got people that are so spiritually dead nowadays, it's not even funny. Now, when I sit back and I try to explain some of this stuff to people, people get turned away because they think I'm being against the society. Well, you should be against the society also if you actually knew what their intent was. These people tell you with smoke and mirrors that they actually out here for you, but every single thing that you see them doing is against you. But our people don't realize that. We got the right to change and be who we are, but instead of us doing that, they are changing us. And they telling us, hey, man, you got to go with the flow. If you don't go with the flow, you're going to get killed. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get snatched up or something like that. But our people need to understand that we are the people who have been imitated the most. Our culture is the culture that they have never understood. It's the culture that they always want to get access to. And now we got people out here that just straight up giving it up. Instead of people going out there saying, hey, man, you know, we got to fight to protect ourselves. We got to make sure that we getting together and we doing this type of stuff. We got people that are happily handed over for a little bit of money. And that money, as soon as they get it, they go broke. All these rich millionaires that you see, them boys be broke 2-3 years later. Why? Because them people suck them dry through litigation and stuff like that, man. So we got to understand that our people are being tricked and confused. And we got a lot of work to do, and we got a lot of things to fight for. But instead of us doing that, man, this new indigenous culture that has come about is basically just robbing our people of the ability to do that. Because now, like I say, we got people running back behind these Native Americans, which is the worst thing you can do, man. That's like so disrespectful to your ancestors. Your ancestors knew that these people was here to imitate them. But our ancestors, we were analytical people. So we adapted to change, and we did what we had to do in order to survive, because that's what it was always about. Nowadays, you got these people out here that's doing stuff for trends. And I mean, it don't really make no sense why they do it, man. Like I say, you got brothers and sisters running around with headdresses on. Now, I ain't trying to disrespect nobody with that, but you just got to understand, man, what is your intent for doing that? Are you actually trying to imitate your ancestors, or are you trying to be your ancestors? If you was trying to be your ancestors, then you would be trying to reunite with your people and connect and get back to the wilderness. Not even just to the wilderness. I see some people saying we got to get back to the land. Well, getting back to the land is getting back to your people, because your people is a part of the land. You are naturally occurring people on the land. So y'all people need to learn how to be able to get together and work the land, and stop going to these slave laborers and telling them, hey man, give me some money. Give me some of your money that you created that is my new God, because I worship it so much. I don't worship my own people. I don't worship the clouds. I don't worship the sun, the sky, none of that stuff. Even though these people doing weather manipulation at every turn that you look, you got to understand, man, it's the reason why they are allowed to do that, and they're doing it on your land and your time. So us as people, man, we got to really start thinking about what we're doing. Our culture is something that has been very, very important, but nowadays I just see us getting rid of it. Instead of us saying, man, you know what, we got to get back to it, we got to stay the same, we don't do that. I tell folks all the time, hey man, you're an Indian. They be like, I don't know nothing about being an Indian. I say Indians are Negroes, bro. You got to understand, the same culture that you've been doing, the same stuff that you've been doing, that's what your Indian ancestors did. Your ancestors, your grandmama, your granddaddy, your great-grandmama, your great-granddad, those are Indians. So you need to be looking at what they did and how they was able to survive, right they wrongs. Because a lot of people was out here in order to try to influence them. And like I say, we only 2 generations from it. Back in the day, we were sustaining of our own. These people desegregated us because of the fact that they know they needed to control us from the inside out. They couldn't control us like they wanted to, so they had to do everything in their power to get us onto their monetary system, to get us onto everything that they do. So I just want to leave y'all with that, man, and just basically get y'all to understand, man, that we got a lot that we really need to do. Indian culture, man, you know, Negro culture, black culture. That right there, that's you, that's us. We got to fight to protect that stuff, man. We can't just let it go. Our next generation is coming up. They gonna be done let it go, man, because look at our answer. Look at their parents, man. Their parents are just people that want to go along and go with the flow and be recognized for something. So they'd rather be doing something than to fighting for something that really matter, man. They just rather be doing anything, you know, than to be doing what's necessary. You know, sometimes doing what's necessary is not the easiest thing in the world, but sometimes it's, you know, we are the people that's got to do it. I'm 33 years old right now, man, and my generation right now, we are the fools of the world. We are the ones who was first tricked into all that school stuff and into believing that our culture wasn't worth a damn. 1996, they started killing all of your rappers that actually was able to communicate these types of messages. They started killing all your entertainers and started setting them up with people that they knew would go with it. You got people out here that you can see on the street that can sing like hell, but these people ain't getting no record deals. Why do you think that is? It's all because of control. It's all because of their influence through the media. These people would rather keep you in the dark than to let you really see the light. So I just want y'all to really understand, man, that we got to go back and start reconnecting with each other. We got to do what we got to do, man, in order to survive. And right now, survival is a must. Our people are being erased at every corner that you see. Every single time you turn around, you got Negroes being just exploited for nothing. And then at the same time, you got these people being exalted. So we got to understand, man, that we got a lot to fight for. We got a lot to be honorable about. And don't be scared to go out there and talk some of this stuff, man. Go talk to your family. Go talk to your friends and neighbors and stuff like that. Go talk to your elders. I talk to elders all the time. I was with my mama the other day, and she said, Nick, why is it that you always around all these older people? And I told her, mama, because they full of wisdom, and I like to learn from them. I don't see nothing but foolishness from my generation. I grew up with most of my friends, and I see what they about. They don't care nothing about what really mattered. So now they are so easy to be influenced that it ain't even funny. I'm above the influence, and I hope that all the rest of y'all want to be. It don't take much to be that, because the influence is very, very low. It's just that these people are on one accord, and we are not. So we got to reunify ourselves, get back to them family gatherings, man. Choose days of your own choosing. just do it because you want to do it. Start coming together on Saturdays and Sundays. Just get together and start saying, man, you know what, we're going to have a barbecue. Most of y'all people be bored and ain't got nothing to do anyways. So you go to some bar and spend much more money than what you could have. You could go over there and kick it with your family and have 10 times more fun. Everybody get together, they love it. But then at the same time, they separate because these people tell you, hey, it ain't time for you to get together yet. They want you to worship on their days. You got to understand, man, we got to get back to what we used to do. Like I say, church is a good thing, man. I don't approve of the doctrine that they teaching. Maybe the next video that I make will be about that, to explain to our people why the Bible is so important. Y'all got to understand, the Bible was wrote by man, though. But it was in order to explain what the interactions between our people and God was. Everything happens for a reason. These people didn't just put the Bible on to your folks and say, oh, this Bible, this right here is, they didn't know all that stuff about you. You got to understand, man, I'm going to break that down next time. And I got a lot of clarity on that I just can't believe people hadn't seen yet. But the thing about it is, man, I just want to tell y'all, to protect your culture, man. We got to fight for that stuff, you know, and I'm going to be here to do what I do. Like I say, man, I appreciate all the love and support that y'all got to show, man, because that really make me feel motivated to go out here and make the difference that is going to need to be made. So y'all do y'all part and I'm going to do mine, man, and we just got to stick together and do what we got to do. You know, all of us in this same struggle together, and we just got to know who we fighting to protect, what we are fighting to protect. Because all of that stuff really matters, man. Y'all just got to look at it and understand that, you know, you ain't got to try to make yourself fit in, because you are already a part of the programming and the process. You just got to actually do your part. You got to do what it's going to take and know who you fighting for. Know what side you are on, because a lot of these people are against you. The whole world is colluded against the Negro Indians right here in America. That's why they use us as examples to make fools out of us. So, I mean, I really appreciate this. I really appreciate y'all, man. But with that, I'm going to tell y'all, God bless y'all. Y'all got any questions in the comments, just feel free to ask me. Well, oh yeah, before I go, man, I want to tell y'all, man, you know, soul food, that's one thing that I always try to tell folks. That was a culinary art form of the indigenous people. Cooking and barbecues and stuff like that, man, this is stuff that they actually wrote down about our people. That's what we was doing. We didn't learn none of that stuff from Africa. Big Mama's cooking and stuff like that, man, that stuff is indigenous culture. So we need to start fighting to protect that stuff. We got women out here that still can cook, but nowadays you got grown women growing up that don't want to cook. Why? Because they not talking to their ancestors. My mama, she can cook better than anybody I really know. And I'm going to say that because from my perspective, that's my mother, but she can cook. The thing about it is my whole family got people that can cook. But if you was to look at their children can barely boil water. And it's sickening to me, man, because they don't care about that culture. They feel like they'd rather go to McDonald's or go to some high-dollar restaurant and let these people cook some stuff from Alaska or Canada. Not even Canada, but from Cambodia, and come in here with all these Indian cuisines and stuff. These people setting up on your land and making sure that you don't get to reap none of it. So we got to start thinking about what we're really doing, man. Our culture is worth protecting. It's worth fighting for. And I'm going to do everything I can to do it, man. But like I say, I'm going to let y'all go with that note. But God bless y'all. Till the next time, man. Peace up. A-Town down. Y'all do y'all thing. I'm going to do mine. Holla at your boy. Peace.